Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 331 for November 21st, 2019. I am one of your hosts, Adriel the Frosty?
No, it's not the Frosty.
The
It's just
Frosty? Frosty.
it's either Adriel or Frosty. It can't be Adriel the Frosty.
Adriel Frosty. I'm Adriel Frosty. Frosty Adriel?
That's what
I
happens
don't
when you
know.
don't embrace your nickname. You don't know how to use it
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
I'm the Frelatte.
And I'm Andy, the classy one.
Yeah, you're the Captain Classy one. Captain Classy Andy.
Captain,
I don't know.
Captain
Maybe for the first 5 minutes.
1911 Breaker.
Ah! There you go. There.
We need to talk about that a little later there, Adriel. Yeah.
We probably should. Now that the three of us are all together, maybe we can finally get an accurate retelling of the events that transpired that evening.
Sure. Yeah. When do you want to go? Now or?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Yeah,
Let's talk about.
yeah.
Let's hear
Adriel,
your version.
I'm really sorry that Trevor made me break that slide.
Oh,
you know, I never actually apologized to you. So
Adriel, I
yeah.
feel like that's as close as we're gonna get to the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way more than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting anything. Maybe just I did the trigger job, so shut it.
I mean,
And
he didn't say advice one more turn, but he was looking right at me, and I could see it in his eyes.
that you could read in my eyes. My
Yeah,
eyes were saying one more
Your eyes
turn.
were saying one more little twist. Yeah.
Interesting. And now I'm not sure why you're apologizing to Adriel or why Adriel's
Don't even care.
come out ahead in this deal. What I
That's
want to know is, how did I get responsible for buying an entirely new gun just to get the slide off of it? How did that work out?
It was in Narinko.
Because-
You just find them everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
Because-
okay.
Because it was your idea, Trevor.
Which part?
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Other than actually breaking the slide, maybe not. But
Maybe not, yeah.
You know.
But the entire project was my idea, so I was financially responsible to replace the slide by purchasing a new gun.
sounds perfect to me. Yeah.
You want to know what the perfect part is? I sold the frame alone to Chuckwagon for more than I paid for the entire gun because I got it at cost. So
Everybody wins.
everybody win, except for maybe Chuckwagon. He maybe have gotten messed up in this deal.
Don't know him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. You know him.
Oh, I do.
Oh yeah, he's the kind of IPSC shooter that travels with people and doesn't reimburse his share of the gas.
Sounds
Gotcha.
descriptive.
I'm just kidding. He listens too, so
Oh man.
shots fired. He's gonna put one on my leg at the next match.
Gotta slow you down.
Yeah. So, all right.
Cool. Why don't we get into what we did in guns? What we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now they have the Calgary Shooting Center holiday sales page of deals, and it's being updated regularly. So if you go check out their holiday sale, they had that pistol up the other week, but now they've got all these scopes and rifles and all sorts of cool stuff up there right now. So head on
Yeah,
over
it's-
to holiday dash sale after theshootingcenter.com and you'll see some deals.
And check it often. That's the whole idea. They keep coming back to that. Like, don't just check it once. They're updating that link all the time with new stuff that's coming on sale all month. So don't just go once and say, oh, there's nothing there I'm interested in. You need to check it on the daily because you don't know what's coming down the pipe. There may be something tomorrow that you absolutely have been wanting to get for a long time. So if you don't keep going back, you may miss out on something.
Cool. Andy, did you want to start us off? What have you been doing in guns this week?
Sure. Well, let's see. Trevor's probably going to talk about the match last weekend that we both attended. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Shot an IPSC match. Shot it in Classic Division like I always do, but this time I decided to try shooting minor, and it went okay. I got second place. The guy who beat me, Tim Thomas, he would have beat me anyway if I'd shot major, probably. I didn't pick a very good match to try minor in. It was a very major friendly match. I won't talk anymore about that because we got to go into major minor stuff, and not everybody wants to hear about that. It's IPSC detail type stuff. Anyway, had a fun match. Trevor came down here, spent the weekend with me. Before the match, it was very cold and windy out. not by your standards, Adriel, but it was cold and windy for us. And we said, well, let's go to the outdoor range and, practice or
Testing, practice.
Yeah. So I didn't practice with the handgun. I took my PCC,
Can you show this thing?
which
You need
is this is what I'm starting my PCC career with. It's oh man,
What?
see that? Right?
Yeah,
You see that? You see the custom buttstock there with the
For
the
our
cheek
audio
weld going on?
listeners, he's holding up some abomination of.
Thank you.
It's called a MechTech, and that's MECHTECH. It replaces the slide on a 1911 or a 2011, and it's basically a blowback rifle. And it came my way. I got a real good deal on it. I did some gunsmithing work for a guy, and he gave me a good deal on it. Cut the barrel. I was about 6 or 8 inches off the barrel. I got it as short as it can get without putting your hand in front of it when you grab the forend there. Rethreaded it, put the muzzle brake back on. I don't think the muzzle brake does anything, but whatever.
Looks cool.
I've got the lower on it is Trevor will recognize that.
Yeah.
That's the Apiro I bought from him, which is a long dust cover 2011 STI.
Where's the charging handle on that thing?
That's over here.
Oh, it's on the left
On the
side.
correct-
yeah.
on the correct side.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
love it.
it moves with the bolt. It's a reciprocating charging handle. That 2011 on the bottom, I had to slot the forend there to fit because it's really designed for a regular length dust cover 1911. But anyway, took it to the range, didn't work. I'm trying to use some very light. The other cool thing about this is it's in 10 millimeter, which is not your, most PCC shooters probably don't shoot 10 millimeter, probably none.
No, they were just making fun of that on the Shoot Fast podcast about who shoots a PCC in 10 mil.
Well, is there a major minor in PCC?
Nope.
No,
Oh.
There's no advantage at all to shooting 10 millimeter.
Just disadvantages.
Just all the disadvantages, but the cool factor, right?
Yeah,
Stop that cardboard.
not wrong.
Anyway, I've got a nice light load with a very light bullet for 40 cal. It's 155, but it's truncated cone bullet, and it doesn't feed well in this gun, or it didn't. But as we saw that weekend, well, we were there for 20 minutes, Trevor? It was so friggin' cold.
Maybe 19.
Anyway, I maybe got 2 mags to run all the way, but it kept hanging up on the feed ramp. But I've since fixed that. Runs great now. Shot it last night at indoor IPSC practice, and shot over 250 rounds through it without any malfunctions at all. Only malfunction I had was my own when I bumped the safety on by mistake. So that's just a getting used to it type thing.
Yeah. What did you do to the? So you obviously worked on part of the upper. You wouldn't start working on the frame of the Apiro. So what did you do to the upper to get the feeding issue to go away?
The Apiro comes with the upper is a little block that goes in where the feed ramp would be on the 2011. That's part of the feed ramp, and the rest of the feed ramp is on the barrel in the upper. That's where it was catching. So I just had to reshape it a little bit. And now those bullets slide right in there.
Nice.
So I actually managed to beat Tim last night by 1%.
Yes, well.
So I beat him with a rifle. Awesome.
Winning's winning.
Still counts.
Right.
Anyway,
if you don't slide over far enough on the Practice Score webpage, it doesn't actually show that you were in rifle division. It simply shows your name above his.
And let's face it, nobody slides over.
No. Just look for right.
Overall.
And it's combined. Combined that counts.
Combined that counts. Not just in Saskatchewan anymore. Now that we start
anywhere.
Yeah. If you shoot PCC, a combined counts everywhere.
Right. So the cool thing about this is, to sum it up, you get an awesome 2011 trigger group, fire controls, mag release, super awesome magwell, super awesome STI mag, slides right in. It feels just like when you're shooting a pistol. I'm used to that. So that mag reloads were no problem at all. Felt normal. just handling the rifle at speed is what I, for my PCC career, that's what I've got to. Which the whole goal here is the Christmas match is coming up here for AMA, and that I'm shooting. That's going to be my one and only match this year in PCC. But this is the gun I'm taking, and it's it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a battle because a lot of people a lot of people are doing it. I'm trying to get Muffin to come, and I'll give him my PCC. Maybe we can even shoot on opposite lines, and then he can shoot it, and I can shoot it or something.
Are you still thinking of shooting the pistol match first in the morning with your pistol?
If Muffin doesn't attend, or maybe that's what I'll do. Like, we can get there early while he's shooting PCC. I'll shoot pistol, and then we'll switch, and I'll just make sure that only my whichever one Sean tells me to declare will be the one I shoot first.
Yeah, like you should. The one you shoot first has to be the one that counts.
Yeah, I'll shoot the PCC first. So while Muffin's shooting, I'll shoot PCC, and I don't know. He can shoot pistol, and then we'll switch maybe.
Whatever.
Sean's not even going to be there, and the Christmas match is quite a busy match. It's very popular. So, no, he's going to be in Florida.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was going for a match.
That's one less competitor. Like,
that's right.
He would have been. He's dangerous.
He's dangerous. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
I we'll miss him, but
I wish he was there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish he was there, but it's more awesome that he's not. Yeah. Yeah. So this might not actually work because I don't want to put that kind of request on the more inexperienced match directors to have to juggle and deal with that. It might be a pain in their butt.
Yeah. It's Wade, right?
Yeah. Unless he sets it up ahead of time.
You can just run it by him. See.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what we'll do. Yeah. That's what we'll do. Cool. All right.
Yeah. So did that. That's it's coming along. I think it's going to be fun to shoot for that one match, and then after that, I'm going back to Classic Division Major with my 45, getting ready for the match in Florida. Anyway, about the only other thing gun-wise is a customer brought me a SIG slide and barrel. That with it's got, I think it was a 225. He said, I'm not sure. It's got a SIG slide with a barrel sticking about an inch out of the muzzle, a threaded barrel with a thread protector on it. He wants that shortened to the minimum legal length and rethreaded, and maybe a skinnier, less obtrusive thread protector on it. So I was just eyeballing putting that in the lathe tonight before we went on air here. So that's paying gunsmithing job. So,
wow.
Yeah, big stuff.
It's real now.
Oh man, got to keep the lights on.
You should put a big brake on the end of that thing. Just one of those old tank brakes, the really big round one.
I might put one on for a photo op.
Yes,
before I give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would look cool.
And that's what was his reaction.
Tell him it's permanently installed. You had to permanently install it, and it was $200. Yeah.
That's I think. Are you a gunsmith, Adriel? Because that sounds
like genius, right?
I think that's what they teach them in gunsmith school, right?
I got a Dremel, so I'm already like most of the way there.
Do you have a YouTube account? Because you need both. Oh, excellent. You're happy there.
A willingness to show myself just massacring guns online, too.
So you've got the West covered. Awesome. I'll do the East, you do the West.
I have a video on my Facebook on Hunting Gear Guy of me with a grinder hitting a brand new out-of-the-box Browning A5 and hitting it with a grinder on the loading port. So gunsmith right here. Yep.
I watched it, yeah.
Got it.
I don't have to comment, right?
I mean, sometimes it can be stunning how good the quality of work I do is, I guess. Yeah.
I really liked the actually your Chinese coin
mag release or bolt stop.
Yeah, bolt release. Yeah.
That sort of inspired me on a little project. I made something similar for a mag button that I didn't keep it, but
I didn't keep mine either. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think that's it for me.
Trevor, you're up.
Cool, man. Well, like Andy said, I went down to his place for the weekend to go to our first indoor match of the weekend, and it was also my first production optics match with my new Phoenix Redback, and it went well. I won the match in the production optics division by almost 3% behind, or just in front of Derek Merriweather. So I'm happy with that first match with that gun. Only the second time shooting that gun, and I won. I was not. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty nervous going in because a little bit of pressure, right? The first time shooting production optics with this big fancy gun that the Calgary Shooting Center provided to me. I wanted to do really well, but I didn't. I didn't have. Well, yeah, I had a lot of expectation.
You felt some pressure to perform, but you raised to the expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
Raised to the occasion.
I rose to the occasion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were adapting to that new gun. You were having a little trouble. You told me with trigger freeze, which you worked on for that 20 minutes we were outdoors at the range with your frozen fingers.
Yeah.
But you did. I think you did it once at the match. You had a little trigger freeze, but not a lot, right?
That was it. There was one instance of trigger freeze and one instance of I come into the array. Where's my freaking dot? It didn't. It happened. It if you watch the videos on Instagram, you can barely tell it happened. It's not that those guys are doing this crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You hit it well. You weren't doing the
No, exactly.
exercising that wrist thing.
I'm not even 100% sure that it happened, Andy. But since you look at the video and I come into the array and I pause instead of shooting, what else could I have paused for? And I don't, that's the only thing
thinking about something maybe.
What are we having for dinner tonight? Yeah. Can't wait to get those burgers into me. And, and that must have been what it was. So anyway, and then of course there was that malfunction with the ammunition. So I've been using a Dillon case gauge exclusively since I started reloading. I purchased it when I purchased my Dillon 650, and up until this match chamber, it was always fine. A lot of guys have switched from the Dillon over the years because it's too generous in tolerance, and what goes into the case gauge may not actually chamber the gun, and I experienced that. So what I did when I got home after the match was set up the Dillon 650 to process 9mm brass using the EGW undersized die. So this is quite a process. I've got to take all of my brass that's already been cleaned, put it in the case feeder, and simply first resize it lube it. 9mm brass is hard enough to resize as it is compared to other pistol cases because it's not actually straight walled. It has a slight taper to it, so it's a bugger to resize in comparison to other like 40 or 45, for example, or especially like 38 Special and 3357 Magnum. Those are a dream. So lubing it helps. So you lube it, you put it in the case feeder, and then you run it through the die, just the die. There's no other dies in the tool head. You're just resizing, and then from there you got to get the lube off. So might as well clean up my stainless steel tumbler. Every time I go to Andy's place, I'm just absolutely impressed with how clean his brass is, and come to find out, like, he's using more soap than I am. He doesn't leave it on as long as I do, but he does much smaller batches. Like Andy, you're cleaning less than 500 cases at a time, right? You're cleaning.
I'm cleaning more now. I'm couple of liters, couple of liter containers full.
Okay, so you've
I don't know how many cases that is, but
right.
With
so
25, it's probably like 50.
And how long are you leaving it on for?
8 hours, I think.
Okay,
which is more than most people do.
Yeah, I leave it on.
I just put it on at night. I just put it on when I go to bed. Yeah.
Same here. I got a timer. I got it plugged into a timer. I put it on at night, and then I go to bed. So last batch.
Pictures you sent today? Yeah, you're still not there.
No way. Stop it.
I'm just kidding. They look good.
Yeah, they're every bit as clean as yours now.
I can't tell much at a photograph, but yeah, it looked okay.
Listen, when I come down, I'll bring you a fistful of my brass. We'll throw it in with your brass. You'll never know the difference.
All right.
Okay. Everything is a contest.
It's a contest.
Even how clean you can get your brass. Yeah. So
you guys clean your brass, hey?
Yeah, we sure do.
Then there's the other route.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, never
where you
really
just
seen the
have
need.
dirt everywhere.
You
So
don't need to. It doesn't have any effect at all on how well your ammo performs. I don't think. Right?
big, big
I
starts
just don't
off
like.
with
I don't like my press to get dirty. That's the only reason
exactly.
I clean brass.
Yep.
Yep.
And
And people like think it's cool. They,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
look at this.
The black sheep brass has me spoiled. I ran out, so I went back to resizing on the press, and man, pain in the butt, right? And more things getting rejected in the case gauge and stuff. That black sheep brass stuff is roller sized, and it just I've never had any problems with any black sheep
What's
brass.
roller sized?
It's instead of forcing it into a die, it's two metal plates that roll size it, and it does a better job, especially at the bottom. It eliminates any bulges that the die doesn't catch. It's a whole
Huh.
operation, yeah.
Interesting. I learned
Yeah,
something.
there you go. Um, so yeah, that's been going on since I got back from the match. I also did more 7.62 by 40 brass prep and was doing some more loading before the show tonight. I actually started to load some with for ladder tests. So minimum powder charge is 23 grains with 1680. So I've loaded a bunch at 1680 just to break in the barrel. Ryan said, shoot 30 to 40 rounds, then clean it, and then call it good. Move on from there. There's a bunch
Ladder
of different.
test.
No,
You're
no,
still
just
doing. You're doing ladder tests,
I
Trevor?
will
Really?
be. Yeah,
Load
Really?
them up to max and
You're not.
call it a day. Why are you doing all this testing?
I want to find the optimum powder charge for that bullet.
The optimum is the one that
Are you
makes it go
using?
the fastest.
Have you tried optimal charge weight method instead of ladder test, or are you just using ladder test in a generic sense? The
I,
term.
I believe I'm using it in a generic sense, Andy.
Okay.
So here's what I do. I'll start off 23, 23 and a half, 24, 24 and a half, 25, 25 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And so somewhere in there, it's going to tighten up, get big, and then tighten up again.
Yep. Okay. We're good.
All
You're
right.
off the hook.
Okay. Thanks.
Sorry for chastising you.
Ahead of time. You should have let me at least explain the process, then tore me up. Preemptively chastising. Good for you.
I blew that one. Yeah.
That's one for me.
Yep.
All right. What else did I do? Oh, some springs came in, and more springs are coming in for the Phoenix Redback. So I've got a 10-pound recoil spring that I put in there because the gun felt like it had a lot of recoil spring, which can lead the gun to not return to zero and actually dip. So muzzle goes up, slide goes forward, muzzle goes down, then comes back up. So, yeah, I've knocked the recoil spring back to 10 pounds. Which, Andy, on your 9mm 1911, what are you running in there, a 10 or a 9?
I asked Sean that Sean had it. I bought it from Sean.
Yep.
I asked him because I had no idea what was in it, and haven't shot it enough to worry about changing it. I believe he told me it was a 10.
Okay.
I can't remember what he told me now.
It
might be 11.
But no, it's well, I run 9 and 15 on his recommendation. So like Lorette used to run 17 in the mainspring because
if he recommended, it's probably what he was running. But
probably was he was running.
Got the tri-top slide. The slide's lighter, so you might run a pound heavier spring in it.
Yeah, and I wonder about that too. Like,
I switched the mainspring to 17 because I didn't want to worry about reliability.
Yeah, I've never had an issue. Of course, I'm only running Federal primers. So, well, that leads me to the next spring that I changed in my Phoenix Redback. The Phoenix Redback has a mainspring housing like a 1911, and so I got a 15-pound mainspring, which is what I run in my 1911s. I grabbed some old school Winchester primers, which were the hardest primers I had on hand, and it would not light them off on the first strike. Light them on the second strike, but not the first strike. I didn't even test it with Federal. I assume it'll light off Federal, but I need it to kind of light off everything. And it only took a pound off the double action anyway.
And you don't know what poundage was in it, so you could still try a 17. Can you get a 16? No one talks about a 16.
Yeah, really, eh?
But you could try a 17 and see if it's any different or see if it works.
Yeah, because you're right. I don't know what's in there. So, now that being said, Phoenix reached out to me on Instagram and offered me some stuff. They said that one of the guys from the Calgary Shooting Center would be going out there, and they were going to send me a free set of the blue aluminum grips that I was pawning over on Instagram and Facebook. So they said, we're going to send you the grips that you said that you like. And what else do you want? So I'm like, sweet, send me an extended magazine button, send me some springs, and send me some buffers. And so it's a little care package on the way. So we'll see what's in that. Some Phoenix redback shooter from Europe told me they had a competition spring kit coming to the market in the springtime. So maybe that's it, right? So in the meantime, we'll see what I can find out here, and I also have to be careful because for production, right? So no, you can change anything related to the trigger group, including springs.
No one's going to know that you have some other spring in your weird Swiss Czech knockoff thing. No one's going to know about any of that spring stuff.
I'm a range master. I always have to be above board. So can't I can't play with the rules that I am in charge to enforce at matches. So
how'd you do in the combined on that one, Trevor? Because that's
it doesn't matter. No one counts the combined.
That's the only thing that counts, right?
Like Tim Thomas said, there were several open shooters and PCC shoot. You're such a dick right now.
Right now?
It was way fair. I was good clarification. I was way down, man. I was 11th, and yes, you did beat me. You doing that more frequently these days?
Yep, only on the little matches.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any younger though.
No, you're like 54 now.
Yeah. You have no idea how old I am.
I do too.
You love to say it. How old am I really?
52.
Oh, good man. Jeez. Soon to be 53, like very soon. Yeah.
I even know when your birthday is.
Oh, we're coming, by the way.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Yeah,
regardless of the date?
I think so.
Okay.
That I don't know. If it's the weekend, we're coming.
All right. Well, that's good.
Didn't talk about, yeah.
Filthy can only do the weekend. Luke was supposed to get back to me. We're planning my New Year's Eve party, by the way, Adriel. Sorry.
You want to come, Adriel?
Let's talk about some guns.
Yeah, we're going back.
Oh yeah, I want to come, but I'm not going to come down. No.
Yeah, fine. All right. So and then this thing happened. This is awesome. My modern Sporter receiver set arrived, and I very quickly assembled it with my IBI 7.62 by 40 WT barrel, and I had all the other goodies on hand with the exception of the gas block, and I've been turning everything off in the house so that while I'm working in the basement, I can hear if somebody knocks on the door, because it said arrive by end of day Thursday, the 28th, when I said to myself, geez, it's 6 o'clock and Canada Post still hasn't dropped off that gas block. What's going on? I looked at the confirmation email or the tracking number again. It said by end of day Thursday.
Yeah, sorry.
That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. New Brunswick. Sorry. We're the horses will get it there soon.
Eventually. And don't forget the dog sled portion.
Dogs. Yeah.
So anyway, the Alberta Tactical rifle.
Did you shoot it anyways? Because you could shoot it single shot.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm taking it to the range Saturday to break in the barrel and whatever. Who cares if the gas system is there or not? So, but yeah, the Alberta Tactical Rifle Supply Modern Sporter is just phenomenal. It is just like the SLR. It takes 100% AR-15 parts. Actually, more so. Like the SLR doesn't. It takes an AR trigger group, but you can't use a cassette trigger group because the trigger group goes inside of a
trigger housing thing.
A cartridge.
Yeah.
So you put you never see, you don't see the pins that hold the hammer and trigger and sear into the receiver like you do with an AR-15 or like you do with this one. You don't see those pins. They're contained inside a little cartridge that goes down inside the receiver and it's held in place with a screw. So that's a little bit different. Other than that, I mean, it still uses an AR trigger group.
And it comes apart with one pin.
Yeah, if that matters to you, I mean, my hunting rifles don't come apart with one pin, and both of these rifles, well, I'm using my SLR as a 3-gun rifle, but the SLR is held together with a screw, an actual bolt in the front of the receiver. There's zero play in the SLR because it's on rails and it's tightened down with a screw, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This one has a fair amount of play in the upper and lower.
Yeah.
That means absolutely nothing to the accuracy of the rifle. Some people don't like the play. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. As I said, because it has nothing to do with accuracy. So, but you push out the front takedown pin, and then it just comes apart like a regular AR-15. Of course, the upper and lower are not compatible with an AR-15. I've got a Phase 5 bolt carrier group in there, a Geisley G2 trigger. I've got a cool charging handle in the mail for it. I put a Vortex Viper HST 4-16 by 44 on there. Coda Evolution carbon fiber handguard, which I had put on my SLR, but it's quite large. Like the diameter of it's big, man. It looks like it belongs on an AR-10, on an AR-15, but the barrel nut is definitely for an AR-15, so that's not going to happen. But it's okay that I got it on here. I mean, this is a 19-inch barrel, and it's a fairly heavy barrel, so having this lightweight handguard kind of helps knock some weight off of the rifle. I haven't actually thrown it on the scale yet, but it's for sure 7.5, 8 pounds. Oh, it's every bit of 8 pounds actually, especially with this
With the scope, it'll be
rifle
more.
scope on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the quality is amazing. The fit and finish is amazing. There, you don't see any tool marks. The anodizing looks good and strong. It's got a custom serial number that has my name incorporated into it. The selector switch indicators are a peace sign in the middle finger because FU, that's why. And I'm very much looking forward to getting out and shooting it. And I'm very much looking forward to the day where I can get multiple uppers set up for it. So,
well, New Brunswick has a new thing now coming soon where you
March
can take
2020.
March. That's as soon as it's coming. Hey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the date's in the letter. So we've talked about this many times on the show before. New Brunswick has caliber restrictions for the varmint season, where you are not allowed to use anything larger than a 224. So in New Brunswick terms, that basically translates to a 22-250 is the largest caliber rifle you're allowed to carry outside of big game season. That's going away because caliber restrictions are dumb.
Really dumb, yeah.
Yeah, the New Brunswick hunting regulations say that you can hunt large game with any center fire caliber. So think of the smallest center fire caliber, like 22 Hornet, and you could go shoot a moose with that legally. Of course, you would not, but you were
because
allowed
there's
to
the
shoot.
17 Hornet.
Right. So you could shoot a moose with the 17 Hornet a couple of hundred times, but you could not shoot a coyote outside of large game hunting season with a 308, which is just completely ridiculous. So common sense. We have the conservative government in here in now, so they're putting some common sense back into things. Except for our local hospital, which are slowly shutting down. But this is a gun show. Yeah, so that means that this could become a new truck gun. I mean, my SLR always could have been, but the WK is supposed to be. I don't know why it's on my wall. Oh, because I have to sight it in. Yeah, so the WK's got to get sighted in and then get put back there. So anyway,
bring it down at Christmas. We'll go to the outdoor range, sight it in.
And I was thinking the indoor range too. Actually,
we can do it at the indoor range.
Yep,
but it's only 25 yards.
It is, but we could,
Set it in. Just figure out what your holdover is, and
like if I didn't make it to the range between now and then, I would at least use that indoor range for breaking in the barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you gotta, if I was going to do the traditional way of shoot one, clean it, and do that, repeat 5 times, then shoot 5 shots and clean it and do that until I go through 50 rounds. That's definitely better to do indoors when you're trying to clean and work with solvents as opposed to outside.
In the cold.
So, yeah.
And the wind.
But I'm going to make a fire and go inside one of the buildings at the range on Saturday. So other Trevor, I think, is going to join me. All right, Adriel, what about you?
2 questions for you. One, Luke was asking what match are you guys talking about? Some Christmas PCC match?
No, it's a level 2 indoor IPSC match at the AMA indoor range in Dartmouth.
There we go.
It's becoming a PCC match,
It is becoming a PCC match. It's, yeah,
at
all
least in
the
our
regular.
minds.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, if you want to win overall, it's a PCC match.
right.
And then Tom was asking about status on the CCFR RSO program.
I've got a conference call in December with my other two master learning facilitators so that we can iron out some of the details. Like I've asked the office to create a training database. So I've got to check back with them and see if that's done because I want to know who trained who, when, where, etc. And
Mhm.
then have them do the logistics of once the instructor puts on a course. We need to figure out the logistics of payment, and I want instructors handling money. I'd like to see students pay the CCFR office directly, and then the instructor get reimbursed expenses after the fact. I want the instructor to just basically fill out a spreadsheet and send it to the office, and then the office will mail out certificates and RSO patches. So that's where we're at. We got trained, and I have not had time to do anything else since. There was some preliminary talks prior to our training about the logistics of administering the course, but then the shooting season happened,
Mhm.
and I'm not even apologetic for it. My shooting comes first. I got into shooting to shoot, and yeah, I'm into advocacy, and yeah, I'm into running matches and stuff. But if I can't shoot guns, I'm gonna go do something else. So now that the shooting season is over, well, the indoor season has started. But that's only one match a month, and I haven't started teaching RO classes yet for IPSC. So anyway, December, a couple of conference calls are going to happen between me and Greg and Sean to iron out those details, let the office know what we need for support, and then hopefully we will get out there and start teaching and certifying instructors. When we took our course, we became master learning facilitators, and we will train local facilitators, and they will train RSOs. So,
Cool. Are you guys going to do
yep.
any training in Alberta next year?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, Sean's got that part of the
Cool.
country. Greg's going to do Ontario, and I'm going to do Atlantic Canada.
Cool.
And then if one of those guys, and Newfoundland needs me to get over there. They've been asking monthly, when are you coming? So, yeah, Sean will be your guy.
Cool.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. For myself, I went hunting. I saw a coyote chasing a rabbit. That was kind of neat. I was like in a
Cool.
tree
I've never
stand way up.
actually witnessed that.
I haven't seen that before either. And I saw this rabbit coming along, and I saw a coyote right behind him, and I pulled up my rifle, and the coyote bolted. It just like ignored the rabbit. Like, nope, I'm out. Yeah, I didn't make like hardly any sound, and it still heard it even as it was running after that rabbit. But I would like to have got a shot off on him. And then I saw a deer, and I missed a deer. I saw a deer. It was kind of on this plateau with appropriate backdrop. I thought it was at the front of the plateau. It was actually at the back, and that was a 100-yard difference. I have like
Oh my!
I have like a pre-printed out map of the area with like all the different distances and like landmarks kind of pre ranged and on this map. I didn't
Yeah,
have
that's a
anything up there.
Google Earth lets you, or maybe you didn't use Google Earth, but there's so many tools available now to do something. If you know where you're
Google
hunting,
Maps will do it. Google Maps will
yeah,
do it where you can hold down a pin on your location, and then you say measure distance, and then you can drag it around, and you can get all these distances. Hard to do when there's a deer that's like kind of like walking across, and you're like you gotta make it happen soon. Now I have a rangefinder, but it's like a crappy Bushnell 600, and the
yeah.
600 is not how far it ranges because it's lucky to get like 300. Uh,
If you got a mirror at the other end on a clear day, it might do 600, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mirror, a perfect mirror.
Yep.
So I bought another. I bought a new rangefinder. I had reviewed actually Tommy Uzzi's rangefinder. He had lent me his 6 Sig Kilo 2K Kilo 2000. And I went looking online. I think Tenda had some sales on these new, and I'm like, oh man, those are really good. I wonder if there's any used out there. And sure enough, yeah, there's some used ones out there at fantastic prices. So I picked this guy up for $450, and
Those are really good. They're supposed to be very good.
at a reflective like a barn or something like that, I'll get like 3,000 with this. and
Jeepers.
on like a hill or something like that, like 1,000 plus. So I'm good on deer with this. The other thing I didn't know about this one, I don't think it was part of that Sig 2000. This guy actually does ballistics on it. So on your phone, you go type in what cartridge you're using, velocity, yada yada yada, and then that thing, your phone Bluetooth links over to this guy, and then this guy knows about the ballistics on your rifle. So then you go and you lay something, and it says, here's the distance, and go up this many MOA. So if you have a rifle with turrets on it, you dial it in, and away you go. So that was.
I think those will interact with the Kestrel software
they
too.
will, yeah, they will
Yeah.
talk with a Kestrel. I won't get
Really,
a Kestrel
really good
just
stuff.
yet. It's getting to a point where it's very easy to use. The Bluetooth is usually pretty spotty and pretty crappy, but this thing, you hit the button and then you say like you connect on the phone and it's going. It's connected. So very quick and looking good so far. I still haven't gotten it out to lay some stuff, but I'm gonna do so this weekend and see if I can't connect on a long range shot. Get that take a deer at long
What
range.
rifle? What were you using?
I was using an Axis for that, an Axis in 308. Accuracy is good enough with it, but ranging, you need the difference between 300 and 400 is just too big. Through a scope, it kind of all looks the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what else. And then I did some long range shooting with a Stag 10 and that Cadex Sheepdog at right around 450 meters, and that was a lot of fun. Lots of smack and steel. Both of them are very easy to hit. That Stag 10 had an IBI barrel on it, so I was just hammering the steel with that. Sheepdog.
308.
Yep. Just did 308. Yeah. And that was nice. And then I got this. So this is a so for the audio listeners, it's a phone arm thingy. So the whole idea with this is that I can stick my phone in here and I can do the overhead. So I can do the overhead on the desktop kind of thing and record that or do some other kind of video with it. So I should see some more interesting video from me using that guy. And I signed up for another range. So I'm a member of Chaz here in Edmonton, which I'm still going to do lots of stuff with them. But Sherwood Park is going to be opening up their stuff here. So I'm going to join that range too. They do some like ORPS and that kind of thing. So I figured with doing Maple Seed at Chaz and Sherwood Park and all over the place, I might as well just get another one. It's no closer. I actually looked on Google Maps, and it's like 50 minutes to Chaz, 52 minutes to Sherwood Park. They're in totally opposite directions, and I'm like right in the middle right here.
It's a rule.
It'd be nice if one of them was a little bit closer, but they're both the same distance.
I belong to like 3-4 ranges, and they're all in different directions, and they're all the same distance away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you kind of live in the
Yes.
sticks.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not
The only-
complaining. That sounded
No,
like
no.
complaining. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little bit. Cool. All right. Well, that's
What's ORPS, Adriel?
that's that 22 rimfire, 100 meters
Don't
and
even
in
believe you right now.
precision rifle shooting. Yeah.
I've told you about this. Told you to get your 597 set up for it.
I forgot the name of it. Yeah. You were supposed to take my 597 and compare it to yours. We forgot again.
I forgot again. Well, why don't
Why?
I bring my
What's the difference?
5.9s? See, we're learning about accuracy. He's not getting into group the way mine does. So Andy, I will take mine when I come down for the Christmas match, and Saturday morning we'll go to Nantuck's. And
Try again.
no, I did it on purpose.
Okay. If you did it on purpose, that's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll take them. Yeah, we'll start with that.
Okay.
Cool.
Plan.
Cool. Yeah, 5.9s are fine. I got a couple 22s. I think I've got like 7 or 8. So I should shoot a sport that uses 22s.
Yep.
Seems like a good fit. Let's see what else we got here. Upcoming events: the 10th annual Podcast Network charity shoot will be at the Rescouche Gun Club Saturday, July 4th. Registration and payment will be through Practice Score. It's a very reasonable $25. Too reasonable, Trevor. We should jack that
Really?
price up way up. Yeah, I don't
Way
know.
up?
I have no
What
idea.
what did we pay this year?
You run more events in New Brunswick than I do. I don't know what locals will pay for this stuff.
Nah, $25 is a pretty standard match fee. Nova Scotia's still only charging $20 for a match.
Amazing. Let's see. We're going to shoot a mini steel challenge match with 22 pistol, 22 rifle, PCC, or handgun. We're going to do a half round of trap. One self-serve pistol bay will be set up for steel, so you can do stuff there. And maybe there'll be call-outs on that steel bay where you can
You got to pay for the privilege to call somebody out, though.
And then you get recorded that you beat them. Is that the idea?
All the bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on your permanent record.
Goes on your permanent record. We'll upload it to IPSC. I don't know how, but it's going up there.
Yeah, it's like the time that you walked your friend across the play yard like a wheelbarrow. That's on there too. It'll go there right next to that.
All right, let's head
Now
on to the
that's
news.
an obscure reference. I wonder if anybody will get.
Too obscure.
Yeah.
Too obscure.
I usually get your references. I didn't get that one.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Well, in the news, New Brunswickers will soon be able to head out into the woods with something bigger than a pea shooter, a poodle gun, and they'll be able to use whatever they want to. There's some real weird howling in Ontario. That was kind of
Right?
interesting.
But you know what? It's just a wolf.
Yeah, it's just a wolf. Yeah,
Come on.
of course it's just a wolf.
It might be a wolf with throat cancer, but it's still just a wolf.
Yeah, a wolf with a really sore throat, real sore, scratchy. Yeah, but it was cool. And then Nikon's getting out of shooting scopes.
Well, and soon next will be binos.
Think so?
Oh, there's just way too much competition, man. Vortex has killed them. They're the
There's
same price.
way more money in cameras.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Probably.
with Vortex, would you say, Andy, you're a optic snob? You've got
Yes.
everything is really good for your optics. A lot of loophole stuff. Would you say that Nikon and Vortex are probably the same price point, same product?
Without having owned either one, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like
yeah.
you walk in as a customer and you go, okay, that's a Nikon, that's a Vortex. Yeah, where's the loopholes?
Right.
And I think
Exactly right.
and
Yeah.
so I think what's killed Nikon, I think how Vortex killed Nikon is the same way Dylan is killing everything else. They just, you ran over it, that's fine. Here's a new one.
Yeah, the warranty. The warranty is definitely one of the things that's. I think it's been good because it's kind of pressured the whole industry, because the whole industry is like warranty wasn't very good before. I don't know if I really like the idea of like unlimited lifetime warranty like on the Dylans, because it encourages people to do stupid things. I've taken advantage of that warranty, by the way. But
I don't know if that's. I mean, I don't feel that way. It encourages people to do stupid things because they know that if they break it, they're covered.
yeah, I mean, someone lights their scope on fire, they cover it, and the next scopes are a little bit more expensive or don't have as good a quality in them because of that guy. You're paying for other people's stupidity.
No,
Dylans
I don't-
could be cheaper. Dylans could be cheaper, but because they cover absolutely everything under every circumstance, you pay
I
a little
wonder
bit
how
more.
much of their gross intake, how many percent of their warranty repair costs, how that affects the bottom line. I bet it's not very much.
I bet it's not very much either, Andy. And I see also that Dylan does not sit still. They come out with new product, and even the 650 that you have is not the 650 that I bought, and I didn't buy mine a decade earlier than yours. So they are constantly improving the quality of the parts on their machines.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
that square deal that I had was super duper old, like 10 years old, and they upgraded all the parts because they're like, we can't support this, so they just upgraded everything for free.
The
I mean,
square deal I use the most is from the 80s,
there you go.
and it's awesome. It works
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Until I got that 650, it was the press that got the most use.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, Trevor. I think Vortex put Nikon out of the scope business because Vortex is competing in the same price point, competing for the same customers, and just
More products.
just destroying right now, and really came out of
And
nowhere, right?
I don't think Nikon was trying as hard,
No, they weren't.
right from the get-go.
They've been
Yeah.
trying, like in the last year or two. I've noticed that they've been putting reps out at some different events
Oh,
and
really?
that kind of thing, but not a lot, not as much as Vortex. The Vortex has really been cranking on the marketing, and I think doing a better job on that side, definitely.
You know who's next? Bushnell.
Bushnell's got too much.
Their scopes are not what they used to be. They've been around a long, long, long time, but they're elite. Like I remember buying a 3200 Elite, and I thought I was, the
They
boss.
bought that, eh? They bought the elites from Bosch and Lohm, I believe. Used to have
Oh,
the
really?
elites. They bought that line, yeah.
Interesting, and just put their name on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought an Elite to put on my 17, my CZ rifle, and it was blown out at like below cost. Like I don't think they're doing super well either. And I've got $1,000 Bushnell Tactical Elite 5 to 25 by 50 on my long range rifle, and it was the first serious optic I bought at $1,000, and it's nowhere near the quality of my Vortexes. I'd replace it with a Viper HST, no problem, and would be better off for it. Forget the Viper PST that I got. I mean, that one's more than $1,000, but it's also a heck of a lot more scope.
Yeah. I think Bushnell suffers as well from having such a wide product range. Like they have really good high-end scopes, like $2,000 scopes, and then they also have $50 garbage or less that gets packaged onto rifles, and someone slaps a Bushnell name on it, even though it's a really big piece of crap. And I think that hurts their brand image. Vortex doesn't do that. Vortex minimum is like Crossfire, and those are not the like $50 scopes.
No.
Yeah, Bushnell's been so many different things over the years. It's such a huge product line. And, when I was a kid, Bushnell was kind of a budget scope. Then it was Bushnell by Bosch and Lohm, and it was decent.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was crappy again for a few years. Then they came out with the Elite stuff, and that was well regarded.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's kind of, it's up and down. It's almost like the name's being sold to different people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's hard to tell too because they keep changing the model numbers. That it's hard to tell what's a good scope and what's not a good scope. Again, Vortex has a cleaner product line that's easier to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's either a Diamond, a Viper, or a what's the one above the Viper? In the red dots, it's the Venom, but in the Razor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you go Razor, woo, Nilly.
Yeah. Anywho, so Nikon's out. New gun stuff. The first one I'm going to show here. Oh, I got to load this up on Facebook. This is the PGW Direwolf. It is a semi-automatic 338 Lapua. Woo!
Heavens to Betsy.
It looks heavy.
That looks like a drawing. That's not even a real gun. So is this is the concept? Introduce and patent.
The patent pending, game-changing, available shortly for military and law enforcement and export to civilian users. They're awaiting classification from the RCMP, but I mean they'll sell internationally, so they don't really care about that. And but the receiver supports the forend. I think that's what is happening there. The receiver's actually like jutting out and supporting the forend because there's some mass there.
It's a concept drawing. It might look different, but yes,
maybe.
Hey, you know what? They took a machine gun round, turned it into a sniper round, the 50 BMG, and then started to refine the ammo and refine the rifles. They've got a semi-automatic, right? The Barrett. This makes more sense to me than that.
Basing something off the 338. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 338 goes way out there, and
it was designed from the ground up for killing people at 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
There's no other semi 338?
I believe there is, but this one's cool.
Well, yeah, I
and
think
it's
think
new.
Andy, there's an AR patterned rifle in 338, or is that
Yeah.
300 meg?
Maybe 300 meg. Anyways,
Oh,
this is coming out. It's going to be silly expensive. The North Silva show went on this week, so there's a whole bunch of gun announcements that kind of came with that. One of them was the Kodiak 180 NSR. It's a actually, I should pull up a picture of this stupid thing. I linked to a video, and I can't pull up a video. Well, I can pull up a video while we're on the stream.
thing.
People just hear the video playing at the
Hi,
same
I'm
time.
Owen with Kodiak Defense. I'm here at North Silva Show. We're introducing our new rifle.
And essentially, what the changes on this on the Kodiak 180 is that it uses a charging handle. That's the biggest change, right?
Well, it uses a AR charging handle. It already had a charging handle on the side of the receiver, so they've taken it from the side of the receiver and put it at the top of the receiver where everyone loves the AR's location. However, because this is a piston driven and because of the way the bolt is and because of the way the recoil springs are, you're not wrong, Adriel. This has made the receiver 3.5 stories high, and now the symmetry and proportions of the rifle are screwy.
Yeah, it's too tall.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine what the cheek weld is like. Because
No, you'd have to get a different optic. Like this guy's got a regular, it looks like a Pepper optics mount on there. You would have to use something else. Low rings, like slam that thing to the rail.
Right. I mean, but that stock can have a comb put on it. Magpul sells a comb that goes on those stocks. If that was on there, well, I guess maybe the average person who doesn't know black rifles wouldn't realize they're looking at something that's out of whack.
Yeah. I mean, the advantage is that they closed up the sides, so there's no slots to get in there. So if you're fighting in a desert and you're worried about sand getting into your rifle,
fighting in a desert and you have this gun, use it on yourself.
Oh man, I'm so salty about all the people who like complained about the slots on the side of this, and now they fixed it. And I think this is not a step ahead, not on the rail at least. Like, I don't care about a side charging handle. I don't care that there was these slots that were left in there. It was a better gun with the slots in there and not so tall, in my opinion.
Right, but people hated the slot because, the mud and dirt and stuff can get in there. Look, if you're crawling around in the mud and dirt and you chose this rifle, you're a Darwin Award waiting to happen. This is not the rifle you picked to go crawling around through the mud and dirt.
Yeah. Well, at least it's got an integrated brass deflector now, so that's kind of neat. I think they went ambi on the mag release too, which I don't care because I'm not a lefty. There was one other thing they did. Nah, maybe that's was that it?
No, they also have a bolt release on it now.
Yeah, they used the RWS bolt release. I've got one of those too on mine.
Okay, so they just built it to incorporate theirs. They didn't even come up with their own.
No, I'm pretty sure that is the RWS bolt release.
Okay, so then that means it's still in the wrong kind of location.
Yes. Yeah. If I could find.
Yeah, it's still sweeping. It's sweeping towards the trigger instead of towards the stock, which means you can't reach it with your thumb while holding the pistol grip.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you don't have to stick your finger up the mag well like you're giving it a prostate exam, right?
Right. So you're basically, I mean, let's face it, you can't hit the bolt release on an AR without using your support hand either. So same idea.
Correct.
You put the mag in and you hit the bolt release at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like all the improvements. I like that it comes with that bolt release, even though I think it should be swept back towards the stock. I like that they closed up the sides of the receiver. I like that they gave it an AR charging handle, but I really don't like what they had to do to give it an AR charging handle. They've made the rifle... Yeah,
I think it was too much. But other people might like it. Those people who think that the slots make it... And it does make it more jam-proof, but if we fight in dust and sand and stuff, which... I don't think any civilians in Canada are really doing that.
No.
Yeah. BCL came out with a new rifle. A new 107. Or sorry,
I've heard
102. Mark 7. 102.
Yeah. So I got a little insider baseball on this.
Yeah.
There was a thing about drawings not being correct, and so that's why the parts weren't correct, and the drawings have been
Drawings
repaired.
and playing with ejection profiles and gas and a whole bunch of stuff that was causing issues.
Mm-hmm.
Version
All been
after
sorted.
Version after version.
Yep. It's all been sorted. Now apparently the Troy is made off the original drawings. So I don't know if Troy sorted it or if the Troys that are out there are going to end up having the problems that the early generation BCLs had.
I don't
But
think so. Do you know
I've
why?
said why?
Because Troy
'Cause
made
Troy?
it. Yeah.
Right,
And
because Troy made it.
It's fine. They used an off the shelf BCG and it just works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've said before, I'll say it again, the new BCLs that we have at the shop are not the same as the first BCLs that I saw or handled. So, I mean, I've already got my 308 AR. I
Mhm.
don't need one, but if I didn't, this would be fine straight out the box,
Well, and the other thing they're doing is they're doing a Mark 7X. Is it the X or the R? They're doing a fancier version that comes with they introduced a new trigger pack.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes in it, and they also have an IBI barrel from the factory.
That's been a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, but IBI was making the barrels for them for a long time. Doesn't matter how I know that, but I know that.
Anywho, those are both new. Is this the mini? Oh, this is so cute. Yeah, I gotta put that on screen. The mini Mosin, the single shot, 22 Mosin. It looks so cool.
Single shot. They couldn't have made it like, a little internal mag.
I think they modeled it after, like they used a single shot action from the donor rifle, if you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyway, it's a really nice looking scaled down Mosin.
Beautiful looking. It's
Well,
a great looking reproduction of a really terrible rifle.
Right.
I've got a Mosin. I like them, but
Is it 7.62 by 54?
No, it's a 22 rimfire.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they're making a mini one. Speaking of 22 rimfire, if you guys want, so everyone's been going all crazy about the GSG 16s, but Chris is now coming out with a Chris Vector 22, and because of the length of the package on this thing, and if you pin the stock, you can get a super short, like original barrel length Chris Vector, non-restricted though.
Right, because on a semi-automatic rimfire, there is no barrel length requirement. That 18.5 inches applies to center fire semi-automatics, so rifles and shotguns. But for rimfire, no capacity and no barrel length.
Mm-hmm.
Now we still have the overall length, though, right?
Yes, so that's they had to make it so that the stock doesn't fold, or they had to do something with the stock, either not fold it or pin it or something. Oh yeah, it's a non-folding stock on it, which normally Chris's fold. But this one
is
doesn't.
it wrong that I don't want an original Chris in 9 or 45, but I do want this?
It's not wrong because this is a really cool 22. They're $750, but they're really cool. And for whatever reason, they did bring some in with like really long barrels, like 16-inch barrels, but you can fold the stock. I don't know who wants this thing. I don't. I want the short barrel, the cool one. Yeah. Anyways,
Crazy.
That's really cool. Another one that got announced and they're bringing it to Canada shortly here is the IWI Tavor 7, which is the 308 Tavor.
This is a long time coming. I held this at the North Silva show in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the holdup's been, but is it?
Tavor had to work on some stuff. Tavor or IWI, they said it wasn't wearing the way that they wanted it to, so they had to redesign something in there.
Okay. So it wasn't only us that didn't get it; it just wasn't on the market. Period.
Yeah, that was the initial delay. Then it was delayed for getting into Canada. Now they're starting to come into Canada.
What do you think, Andy? that's something that trips your trigger? You
Yeah,
have a Tavor.
I'd like to see one. Yeah, find it interesting. I'm pretty impressed with the Tavor that I have.
It'd be a real compact hunting rifle, right?
Yep.
But okay,
So heavy.
it's
So
heavy.
heavy.
It's
Oh,
$3
yeah.
grand. I can make like a much better rifle in a Stag 10 for still $1,000 off. Right?
Are you sure?
Well, you
For
can make a nice
$2,000?
Stag 10.
You can make a nicer gun in a $2,000 Stag 10. You can buy a Stag 10 for $2 grand off the shelf.
Okay.
That'll be a better shooting rifle than this one at $3 grand, but not as compact.
But then
Hello? Am I still streaming? I am still streaming. All right, 1 second. Let me figure this out. I don't know. Back now. Are we just waiting on
Captain Andy.
Captain Andy? Got to turn his video on. We're back live.
Huh?
We're back live.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dum, dum, dum.
Hangouts is going to get worse because Google doesn't care about it anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, IWI 7 if you want. Someone was saying in the video comments the East is separated.
Finally. We're in better shape before we join Confederation anyway. Yeah, so it is super heavy and it is expensive. It's $3 grand probably before you do anything to it.
Would have been cool, like
conversation. Do we know how heavy it is?
Well, I've held it, Andy, and I'm sure that once an optic is on there, it's in the 13-pound range.
Whoa.
Yeah. She's beefy, man.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be compact because even with a 20-inch barrel on there, it's going to be more compact than what you could get out of a Stag
sure.
because it's got it's bullpup.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the size of the Stag receiver set, put the receiver extension on, then a 19-inch barrel. Oof.
This says 9 pounds.
Lies. unless they've done a lot of trimming since I held one a year ago, because I mean that sucker was heavy.
Well, the one you held was very early.
9 pounds. 9 pounds is the spec online.
Yeah.
That's not that heavy.
No, it's not. I mean, this sucker here, I'm holding up my Stag 10 with the optic, no ammo. It's 11 pounds. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
But it's not intended for what our buddy Steven is doing with his lightest. He's building an AR-10 Adrio that weighs more than most people's AR-15s.
Weighs more than
Less.
people's?
No, less.
Less. That makes sense. Yeah.
Carbon fiber, everything.
I mean, it's possible. It's just there's a reasonable gun weight, right? Like 10 pounds and under, reasonable.
Yep.
And if you can get something in 6 for hunting, fantastic. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's just
I
nice.
mean, I wouldn't want to pack this around for kilometers and kilometers, but whatever.
Yeah.
I've lugged a heavy gun around Newfoundland a lot. I didn't mind it.
Like,
heavy.
You're
Okay.
You're not a lightweight either, though. You know what I mean? It's not like
Percentage-wise, it wasn't very heavy.
right. It's not like Matthew McClatchy had to carry it around. That would be entirely different. So
Yeah. The next one here is the Bursa Thunder 380, which is kind of like a Walter PPK lookalike. 380 long barrel sticking out the end, and tactical imports bring those in.
Dang.
Yeah, looks like a PPK.
It looks cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $450. That's pretty cheap.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it.
Mm-hmm. So if you want like a James Bond pistol, there's your option.
Yep.
And one of the things, like with 3D printing out, I think one of the cool things that we've been seeing is a lot of people have been 3D printing different parts. So these GSG 15s, originally there was a GSG that looked like the MP5. It was prohibited because, hey, no MP5 variants. So we've got the GSG 16 in, and people turned around and 3D printed and modded all these parts to fit on them to make them look just like MP5s anyways.
This is such a middle finger to the RCMP Firearms Lab, because remember, they prohibited the Mossberg AK-47 Blaze, which is just a Mossberg Plinkster wrapped in clamshell molded plastic to give the overall appearance of an AK-47. They wouldn't let that in. So
It's a Mossberg Blaze to look. Yeah, Mossberg Blaze. It's not a Plinkster. The Plinksters use a
Blaze. Right.
Yeah.
Why would I call it a 47 Blaze and then anyway. So yeah, they won't let that in because it's wrapped in plastic to look like an AK. And then they turn around and they make their GSG 16s look like MP5s. It's wonderful.
Yeah, so people have been there's a couple of people on CGN that are 3D printing some like rail deletes from the top so that you can just not have top rail go all the way out to the front, and been putting all sorts of weird like airsoft stuff and 3D printed stuff and all sorts of weird stuff to their GSG 16s to make them look cool.
I support this.
Yeah.
As long as it's not too cheesy. Also, if you're going to take a photo of your gun on the ground, please keep your feet out of the photo.
Oh, you don't know Reddit. That's like a prerequisite.
Oh, is it a Reddit thing?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And the last one, I just saw this one just before we started the show here. This is the Double Shoot app, and this is like we're living in the future. If you have a Meprolite Foresight sight, whatever that one is, I think it's like a red dot sight that you can control with your phone. You shoot a bunch of shots at your target, you go up and you take a picture of it with your phone, and your phone zeroes your sight.
What?
Yeah. Your phone talks to your sight, and it's like, yo, up to right one, done. Magic. Magic and future technology.
There's a lot of potential for trouble with that.
Oh, yeah. Because I think the whole sight on that thing's electronic. I think it's like it's not necessarily that it's moving anything inside. I think it's just all digital. Like a full digital display that's just reflecting off the thing. Anyhow, that's neat. Any other comments about any of the new gun stuff?
Nah, man.
Let's head into the main topic. So for our main topic, we're going to be talking about something that's not futuristic, black powder. I'm all powder's black though. Like my tight group's black. Is that black powder? I just like get a funnel and scoop some in the front of my barrel and then stick a bullet behind it.
I guess technically it's black. Yeah.
More specifically, muzzle loading hunting, because that was a listener requested topic. So
that makes sense. Some provinces you can go early with a muzzle loader, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. You could do that here. Yeah. It's a couple weeks early and a couple weeks late too.
Yeah. Advantages on both ends.
Yeah. So you can get a real stringy, worn out, terrible deer at the end of 2 weeks after the season closes. Yeah.
Don't forget it'll stink too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So, like, what do people use? Do they just go grab like a Hawken replica with a ball and a patch, and they hunt with those? Or like, what do people?
Don't forget the powder horn.
And the powder
horn.
Yeah.
And do you wear buckskin like from top to bottom when you do this, Andy?
I think you have to.
That's
part
really none of
get-up.
your business.
I got too personal. My bad. Cross some lines.
Most of the few people I know that muzzle load or hunt have an inline type rifle,
What's
which is
inline mean?
looks like a modern rifle, inline ignition. It has a bolt. You put the primer in where the cartridge would normally go. There's the nipples in there, but you still have to load it from the muzzle. And it's got a scope, looks like a Remington 700 or whatever. And they work great.
I don't know that I've ever seen any of your muzzle loading firearms. Do you have more than one?
Oh, just got the one.
Just got the one? Okay.
Yep.
Yours is a bolt? Is it like that Savage bolt one that uses the smokeless powder?
Oh, I've got a Hawken.
Is it nearby?
It was actually given to me. It's a 54 cal. It was
That's
a kit.
Fancy, man.
Oh yeah, boy. A friend of mine, a friend of ours, friend of my wife and I, his father, his office staff gave him this one year as a Christmas gift.
In kit form.
Yeah, it's a Thompson Center Hawken. It was kit. And
there are some of those kits, Andy, that the RCMP don't consider firearms.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But anyway, we'll look at that another time.
Anyway, he brought it over to my place years ago, before the gun registry was in, actually. And he wanted to build the kit. His father had never done anything with it. Like, his father got it in the 70s. Wow. They stopped offering the kits a long time ago.
They brought them back in. You can get Hawken. Yeah. They did stop for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he brought it over. He never did anything with it. The gun registry came in. I registered it because it was in my house. So it basically became mine. And maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I put it together.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. So if it was in your house, it's yours. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Note to self, never leave anything at Andy's.
So you always leave something at my place.
Right? This time I thought it was my boots.
Yeah. The kit was cool. All the inletting is done in the stock, but there's no finish on it. The barrel is not blued or finished. It's got milling marks on it. The lock, the trigger, and the lock and the hammer, that's all finished and done. They don't want you messing with that. So it was basically a stock refinishing project, and polished the barrel and blew it, sort of thing.
I hear on the new ones, the new kits, I hear that they're a lot rougher and that there's a lot more woodwork that needs to go on.
There were still tool marks in the barrel and it had to be blued. That's how much rougher can it get?
And the inletting was done on the stock, but the stock wood was, very rough. You had to do a lot of sanding and filing and finishing. Anyway, it turned out nice. I finished it with True Oil and blued the barrel with cold blue. It turned out nice. So I took it hunting a couple years ago. Went up to the stand. It was a beautiful sunny afternoon in mid-September. Maybe it was the first day of muzzleloader season. Might have been 2 days in, I'm not sure. And I said, I'll just go up and look, see if anything's eating the apples, and I'll take the muzzleloader with me because I can. Wearing a t-shirt, I think, and sat down, and along comes a deer, and that's how these stories always go. Really nice 8-point buck. And before I tell you any more, let me tell you about getting the gun ready to go hunting. So when you fire these things, you're using black powder or fake black powder, which is what I use. It's called 777.
Yeah, that stuff's still around.
It's just a little cleaner than real black powder, I guess.
Now,
and it's easier to measure out, right? Do you use the little like pre-formed pellets that you just chuck in there?
No, this is loose powder. We're not going that modern. Yeah.
Now, Andy, is it the black powder that's corrosive, or is it the primers that are corrosive?
No, the residue from the powder itself is.
And now, is 777 also the same as?
Yes, but from what I understand, to a lesser degree.
Okay, but it still requires immediate cleaning.
You've got to clean it after the same day you fire it, basically,
Okay.
with soapy water, hot water.
Yeah.
You use hot water so that it'll dry out faster, and you don't want it to rust. And actually, Ballistol in the water works great because it dissolves in water, and it also prevents corrosion. So anyway, after you fire these, you have to clean them, and then you have to oil them because you've cleaned it with water. So when you go to load it again, there's probably some oil in the nipple or the passage, the flash hole from the nipple to the barrel. When you fire the primer, that's where the fire goes through and ignites the powder. And the proper practice is to fire a few caps, with no load in the barrel to make sure that passage is blown out and clear. I didn't want to do that because the caps make a little bit of a mess on the outside of the gun. You have to clean that too. So I just thought, I'll just blow it out with compressed air really well, and that'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I did that, loaded it, took it up in the woods there, and saw that this beautiful deer, nice 8-point buck, young buck. So he stops he's 30 yards away, and he's standing there, perfect broadside shot. So I'm sitting down. I've got I brace my elbow on my knee, perfect shot. This gun's got really nice set of sights on it. Line up on the spot behind the shoulder there, and fire it, and it goes bang, but it's just a little bang. It's like about the sound of the loudness of a cap gun. If any of you guys did you guys have cap guns?
Yeah.
Of course we had cap guns. Every year at Christmas, I get a new set of cowboy 6-shooters with holsters and everything.
About that loud, maybe a little louder, because the primer's on the outside. It's not like a squib in a centerfire gun where you don't even hear the primer. Cap's on the outside, makes quite a bit of noise. But that's all. It didn't set the powder charge off. So I'm thinking, well, that's ruined. But the deer just stood there and he looked around a little bit, but didn't really bother him. So you gotta cock the hammer back, click. It makes a real loud click, and you can hold the trigger to prevent that, but I probably didn't at that time because I was now a little wound up. Yeah. So then you got to dig out your little tool that holds the primers. First, you got to get the old primer off the nipple. It's smashed on there by the hammer. You got to pick that off. Then you've got this little tool that's quite small and holds a bunch of primers. Put a new primer on. Cock the hammer. Aim again. Deer still standing there. This deer deserved to die, by the way.
Clearly.
Fire again. Bang. Gun doesn't go off again. I'm disappointed. So, might as well try again. So go through the whole procedure again. Deer still standing there. He looked around again, and I'm only 30 yards away from him, and I'm moving. I'm loading this gun, right? I'm putting a new cap on.
You're doing him a favor.
Yep, he deserved to die. So, third time, bang. Darn, didn't go off again. Start to bring the gun down. Boom. With a hang fire. It did eventually go off, but I figured I missed the deer, but deer goes down and he's thrashing around on the ground. I have no idea where I hit it. So I'm thinking, I've got to load this thing now because, I've got a wounded deer here. So you got these, I'm into this. So I've got these speed loaders. It's a little plastic cartridge dealie that holds your powder, your ball, your patch, your primer, and it also acts as your ball starter to load the next ball into the gun. So I open up my speed loader, get my ball out, get my patch out, put the patch over the muzzle, push the ball in, get the ramrod out of the gun that's under the barrel, push the ball all the way down in there. And at that point, I realized I hadn't put any powder in the gun. No. Classic muzzleloader mistake, right? And hey, I'm an IPSC shooter. I know how to work under pressure, right? So, I'm screwed now with this gun. This gun is tied up. Can't make it work. Fortunately, the deer died. I hit him in the spine above the shoulder. As I was bringing the butt of the gun down, it went off, and I happened to hit him in the spine, which he died in less than 5 minutes. But that could have been.
Could have been you with a boot knife.
It could have been all, and he had big antlers. He was thrashing around good. Anyway, it worked out, but not.
You're really
you know,
selling this black powder idea, this hunting with
deer
black powder.
deserved to
Yeah.
die, but I didn't deserve to get it. But I got it anyway, and it was, man, it was the best tasting deer that early in the season. It's the best
Oh,
deer I
yeah.
ever got.
Before they get
Anyway,
all rutted up.
I'll never make that mistake again. I'd like to say, but that's I guess they call it dry balling. That sounds dirty, but
It sounds like something Gallon made up.
yeah.
What do you do when you dry ball it?
Well, you got to get that ball out. You can one method is to unscrew the nipple, and you can get like 1 grain of powder in there at a time, and you can fill up that little passage and then put a cap on, and that's enough to shoot the ball out.
Mhm.
What I did was trying to remember. I used a wood screw somehow on the end of a
rod and then screwed into the
a
lead.
rod of some sort. I don't remember how I got the wood screw on there, but it was easy to screw into the ball and just pull it out. It was easier than I expected. But yeah, so that's the one animal I've shot with a muzzle loader, and that's yeah. I'll do better next time. But it sure knocked that deer down. I'll tell you that.
And you're saying you were using a ball, a patched ball?
A round lead ball. You don't have to do that. You can use a sabot and a more of a conventional bullet. It's just a 54 caliber lead ball, 225 grains. In preparation for the show, I went to the range and chronographed this gun, and it's 3 shots. I mean, I only did 3 shots. It's a lot of work, man, reloading these things. Average velocity for 3 shots was 1817.
Whoa,
which
got some
is,
stank.
I think, about the year that you'd be hunting with this thing, actually. So yeah, that's it's cooking. That's faster than I expected. I really didn't know what to expect for velocity. I could have looked it up, but I wanted to be surprised. So I have it zeroed at 50 yards, and at 100, I fired 3 shots at 100, and they're open sights and they're not very precise. They're nice, but it's like a
buck
sight
kind
valley,
of thing.
a valley, a tapered U on the rear sight, and the blade has a round profile to it on the front. So it's hard to be exact. But anyway, the group was 4 or 5 inches in diameter, but it was about 4 inches low at 100. So I don't think I'd shoot any further than 100 with it without a lot of practice.
Yeah, that was my next question. What's your comfort zone with this firearm?
Right now, just in the bush up close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you say with practice, so if you would you weigh your balls after they're Jesus. Would you ensure that all of your ammunition weighs the same to hope that your group
once a year on my birthday?
You got to make sure that they're concentric, so you got to roll them around in your hand.
These are pre-made. I've cast some ball. I have a mold for this, and I've cast some. I've never fired any. These are balls, swaged balls from Hornady.
Okay. Pretty consistent. Never weighed them?
Haven't checked.
Oh,
I weighed
wow.
one to see how heavy they were, and it was 225.
Okay.
Yeah. And the powder. You do powder in a black powder firearm by volume rather than weighing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you take you have a powder horn, but mine's made of brass. That's full of powder. You open your little powder measure, you fill that, and you close it, and that cuts the top off it so it's uniform. And you pour that in the barrel.
Or do the little pre-made dealies that you got there.
People use pellets too. Yeah. I have no experience with those at all.
I use pellets with an inline. I had an inline and used those 777 pellets. I like that because you just count potato, right? 2. Put 2 of those in there. Put a mini on top or a sabot round, and away you go. A lot of the sabots, I think they use 45 caliber pistol rounds.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
And
so
I'm using 100, like the granular powder. You can fine tune your load more, I guess, if you're into it, right? I'm using 100 grains. I don't know why. And you can go a little higher with this gun, they say. So I could probably get a little more velocity out of it, but it's a round ball. It slows down pretty quick. The ballistic coefficient of a round ball is horrible. I think it's like 0.06 or something like that. But the 54 caliber ball, it does a good job because it makes a bigger hole, which lets in more light, and we all know light is what kills the animal, right?
That's right. More light goes in.
That's right. And that's why that's why poachers at night use the light, right?
That's
Otherwise,
what it's for. Yeah.
wouldn't work at all.
No.
So, I mean, it's obvious. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I use the pellets usually have a hole in the middle as well, so the primer can more uniformly light it off.
It can access more surface area. Yeah. I think some of the stuff, the glue or whatever it is that bonds those together, might retard it a little bit. So maybe the hole counteracts that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I had an inline and I went hunting with it a couple of times, but whoa, so annoying. So annoying. Like you've got this gun that's kind of loaded. You take the primer off, but then it's like loaded, it's kind of loaded, and then you shoot it and it's like, I gotta clean this thing, and it's like it's November and it's cold and everything freezes, and you use water on a gun, and
I'm a little confused, Adriel. So I've been saying for weeks we're gonna get Andy on to talk about muzzleloading hunting.
Yeah.
Because a listener wanted to hear us talk about this topic. Not once in all of this had you ever bothered to speak up and say, I've been muzzleloading hunting, or I have muzzleloader experience. Not once.
Yeah, but I had like one of those lame inlines that isn't even hardly a real black powder firearm. It's just a modern. I had one of those.
It's a way around the rules.
Yeah. But I mean, not even like we don't even have any advantage for it here in Alberta. I was hunting in rifle season with it.
So here's what I'm working with: one guy who shot with one who doesn't think it's an actual muzzleloader black powder, and another guy who got lucky and killed the deer by fluke.
and has all of the downsides to muzzle loading hunting.
I think you summed it up pretty well there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think if you were going to hunt with it and just get around the rules, you would get an inline. With a 209 shotgun primer, you'd use the pellets. You'd use a Sabo with a pistol bullet. You'd use a scope and a scope with a graduated reticle, so you knew your drops. Because again, that thing's still dropping quite fast, even with the Sabo and all that kind of stuff. And you'd hammer your deer in a little bit earlier of a season than you can with a rifle. But again, like in Alberta here, it's no advantage, so I sold it and I went back to bow and rifle. So I'd go bow when it's bow season, rifle when it's rifle season.
And on the other side, if you like to tinker, if you like to fiddle around with guns, you take one of these old, style Hawkins to the range and you fire 20 rounds. That's a day. You're having a great time. It's awesome.
I like the idea of the patched ball and the loose powder and all that kind of stuff. It's very.
My approach was, if I'm going to do the black powder thing, well, partly it was because I already had the gun; it was given to me. But I decided not to go with the pellets or with the Sabo or with the modern shaped bullet. I decided to go with the more traditional ball and patch. Just if you're going to do the black powder thing, why not? In my mind, I just said, well, I'll do it more the old-fashioned way. Yeah. That said, I'm not using real black powder, so a purist would not be impressed by that whatsoever.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
If anyone's actually interested in this, Hickok 45 recently did a YouTube video where he fires his same gun, Hawken 54, and he explains the whole loading process and things very well. And it's good.
The one that Jim Shockey ran around with for years, I don't know if he's still with Thompson Center, but he used to. I mean, he shot just about. He may even have a Grand Slam with the muzzle loader. He probably does, and he's got a bunch of African species with a muzzle loader, and he's got like one in his hand, and somebody's carrying a backup. Would that be an inline as well? That's seems to me he's using a very, very modern. No,
I don't know what Jim. I don't.
I mean, a lot of those inlines, they've got a breech block that you can pull out really quickly. So they'll have like a little tool that you can twist out the breech block, and then your barrel's basically just a tube, so super easy to clean. That's an advantage with some of those ones. Some of the break action ones, they're like straight, but then you just break it open, and then you can access the breech block and the nipple and all that kind of stuff. They're just right out there in front of you. So,
Andy, can you access the breech at all on that one?
Well, you push a wedge out of the forestock, the whole barrel unhinges from the receiver, I guess you'd call it. But no, yeah, well, technically the
Without
breech-
That thing's a
disassembly.
cannon. That thing's basically a cannon barrel with a
basically a cannon.
nipple. Yeah.
the breech will unscrew from it. It is screwed in there, but it's recommended never to take it out. It's not meant to be disassembled and reassembled at
It's
all.
probably all crudded up by now, anyways. Because the thing with
Yeah.
shooting black powder is that crud gets in the threads, and you'll never take it apart again.
Certainly does.
The new ones, you got to
interesting.
grease the threads. Some of them you have to like screw them all the way in. Some of them will use like interrupted threads, so like a half turn and then
Yep.
out she comes, kind of a thing.
Like a naval gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get into muzzle loading. What do I need?
Are you
What-
gonna
what
are you
other-
gonna go like traditional,
way do you
like
wanna go?
Andy, or are you gonna go modern?
Well, let's go traditional. I think if you're going to do this, you might as well do traditional. So other than modern firearm, I buy a rifle, I buy ammunition, no problem.
Okay, so you need the gun, obviously.
Yep.
You need you need
Gun comes with the rod.
gun usually comes with a rod, although if you're at the range, you'd probably use a different rod because the one on the gun is minimalist. It doesn't have a nice handle on the end
Mhm.
to push with your hand. So you'd probably want to get a separate ramrod. You can modify a cleaning rod, actually, no problem. You need balls, which you can buy or make. You need patches, lubricated patches.
Lubricated patches. Okay, that's something that you purchase wherever you purchase muzzleloader supplies.
Yes, I assume that's where I got these.
And now are the patches specific to the bore
Yes.
of the gun? Okay.
Yeah, and again, purists would have a roll of material and they would cut their own patch, I think, and
Still
Dip it in some bear fat, and
Yeah.
away you go.
Yeah.
Hey, keep it.
I don't know about that.
You would want to pick your caliber too, because there's 54, there's 50,
And
70?
54.
74.
There's 54 and 50, and I don't think you want to go any smaller for deer size game.
I've got a mold downstairs, I think, for 50.
Yeah, 50's I think the most popular. 54 lets more light in though, man.
Yeah.
Well, 50 for the 50 for the guys who are not traditional, because they're gonna suck it down anyways with a Sabo, so it doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right. So, okay, balls, patches. You need something to hold your gunpowder in the field. A brass canister, plunger type thing, or if you want to go real, the old powder horn. Trevor wants a powder horn, I think. You need a powder measure, okay, that determines they're adjustable. The little thumb screw and a plunger. You can
Oh, no way.
preset to how much powder you're going to load, right?
And so there's data for this? Like if I'm using 777,
Data's
then I
pretty
know.
loose. Yeah, it's you can load 80 grains, 90 grains, 100 grains, 110.
At what point
I
do you
think-
blow up the gun?
I don't think it'll ever blow up. I think it's just diminishing returns.
Okay.
I
More
think the nature of black powder is kind of after you reach
Well-
a certain point, nothing more happens. I wouldn't
More
say
recoil. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot more recoil. You could probably blow it up if you went like 150
Maybe.
or more,
Maybe
depending
I
on
don't
the
know.
gun.
You can go over 100 grains with a 54. I know that. I don't recall what the maximum was. I remember settling on 100 and I was happy with that. You need
based on what? The kind of group that you got at 50 or?
yeah, and
So-
it grew quite well at 50. From the bench with open
And-
sights. I was happy.
And will the group be affected by the amount of powder charge? Like when I'm using a 125 grain bullet and I've got a minimum charge and a maximum charge, and somewhere in there is a sweet spot for the best group. Is the same hold true for that 54 caliber ball and a certain amount of volume for black powder?
I'm going to say likely, but I think I tried 100 grains and was happy with it, and that's where we're at.
Good.
I'm looking
Good.
if you were to completely eschew the traditionalist, and you'd get the Remington 700 Ultimate muzzle loader, you can go to a 200 grain charge of powder. Woo!
There you go. See,
Yeah.
Now, we should tell the listeners and viewers that burn rates on black powder and smokeless powder are two very, very different animals. And if you were to screw up and put smokeless powder in a muzzle loader, you'd be in a world of trouble.
Some of
They
them are
only
made
have-
for it. some of them were made for it. I think the Savage used the Savage had a
Right.
muzzle
There
loader.
was a muzzle loader
Yeah.
that used smokeless powder, a Savage. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
The only
I
thing
wouldn't-
those two powders have in common is that they're both called powder and they both burn, but
Yep.
you
They're both
cannot
black, too.
interchange whatsoever. Well, some are gray. Like, they're not all black.
Yeah, yeah. You know that that Traditions. There's a Traditions Kentucky 50 caliber percussion muzzleloader do-it-yourself kit at Cabela's for $4.29. You can still do this. You can still buy these. Cool.
Interesting. Okay, what else do I need, Andy?
You need a ball starter, which
Okay.
is a little tool. It's got a real short thing to you put the ball on and you smack it with your fist to get the ball pushed. The ball has to deform a little bit to go into the rifling, with the patch.
Also, that was my
And
next
then-
question.
then you
This
take
is
them-
not a smooth bore. There's rifling in there.
Oh
that the
yeah,
ball
there's
will grab.
big old rifling in there.
Okay, so all right, and you can use a Sabo that's wrapped in plastic or an actual Sabo that is
The ones I've seen are
completely
plastic.
right. But one of the advances in muzzle loading was, of course, first they got rifling, and then they changed from a round ball to what looked like a modern bullet, but it
Oh,
was
you're talking
lead
about a
and-
mini.
Minier ball,
Yeah,
which is not a Sabo. That's a bullet basically.
yeah. Okay, so the Sabo is a bullet wrapped in plastic.
I've got some Sabos. Like if there's a plastic component and a lead, but that's not even a modern style.
No,
It's just a
it's
solid
lead. Yeah,
plug.
'cause you can get like a modern construction bullet wrapped in that plastic Sabo. You
Yep.
can buy them for your 12 gauge too, but they seem kind of useless. Like, I think you'd be better off shooting an actual slug.
Yeah, they just
Oh,
look
no, that's
like
not-
a plain bullet. They usually have like a hollow skirt.
Yep.
And you can cast them. Yeah. neat.
Sabo slugs for 12 gauge. That's another topic for another day. Okay, so you got your ball starter.
Yeah. So then you start the ball with the little stubby thing, then you push it down with the 4-inch part, and then you're ready for the ramrod. So that's a 3-step process. And then you need a bag called a Possibles bag. Oh,
Put
you
your
also
balls in. Your balls go in your
Oh.
bag.
Yeah, they do. You also need a thing to hold your primers or your caps.
Goodness.
I guess they're called caps when you're a muzzle loader. And then you need a bag to hold all that stuff in that you carry over your shoulder, when you're hunting, because you need your bag. And there's also some various tools like a nipple wrench. Say something, Trevor. And
What for tweaking your nipples?
Clamps, nipple clamps.
that's
Your
right.
terminology's all wrong.
I'm actually so into the conversation, Andy, that I'm missing all the double entendres.
I know, right? So, and then speed loaders are nice. In the, that term's in quotes, but it keeps everything packaged up real nice. Just remember, put the powder in first, and you'll be
Right.
fine. Yep.
So the speed loader actually has a ball starter built onto it.
Yeah, right there, and it's also got a recess to put the ramrod from your rifle in, so it's not as hard on the end of your hand. And if you can see, I know the listeners can't see, but in the cap, there's one end of the cap's got a little place to hold the primer cap there.
Oh, so you
Oh.
don't need all that other crap you talked about. You just need one of those. You don't even need the ball starter. That thing will get it going, and then you can just use a ramrod for the rest.
That's right. But if you're at the range, you're going to want all that stuff just to make things nicer.
Yeah.
See, your bag carries all your little speed loaders.
Ah,
there.
you're set to kill like 4 deer in a row.
Well,
2
see,
minutes
if they're
apart.
if they're related to that one I got, they would just line up for me,
Yeah.
wait their turn. Anyway, that's I will say, it's fun. I haven't done a lot with it. I haven't done much experimentation or load, trying different amounts of powder. But
People at
Things
the
have a
range
lot of
love
fun
it when
to
you shoot a black powder, right? When you're right next to them, you shoot a black powder. Everyone loves it when you shoot those.
it was so cool at the indoor at the outdoor range in the indoor rifle hut when I was doing the chronographing. The wind was blowing straight at me, so I have the range window open and fire the gun, and then there's about a 3-second delay, and then the entire building's full of smoke. Super cool. So then you open the back door, and the whole thing vents out, and you can actually watch the smoke rolling out of the place. It was make a lot of smoke.
I'm sure everyone loves that.
Sounds like
No one else
shooting.
there. It was wasted. There was no one there to see it except me.
Oh.
Sounds like shooting coated bullets at an indoor IPSC match.
Yeah, it's like that times 10.
Hmm.
Anyway, they're lots of fun. And here in Nova Scotia, you get that big advantage 2 weeks early on the hunting season when the weather's really nice. And
You can
It
go out
used to be in
hunting in your
Manitoba.
shirts.
Manitoba, you had a primitive season or a couple of primitive seasons. You could get like one with a bow, one with a muzzle loader, and then one with a rifle,
you
and
can get
and a doe or something.
here it's your muzzle loader and bow license are together, so you can get one with that and one in the regular season with centerfire.
Cool.
Nice.
It lets you get a second deer here in Nova Scotia, which is cool.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I don't regret having it. I don't regret having it given to me. Actually, it was a fair project to, do a nice job of putting it together, and it did turn out real nice. So.
You should get that barrel off there and let me bring it up and hot blue it for you.
And I was thinking the same thing.
Yep.
Now it's your idea, so we'll do it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Last year it was the jungle. This year it could be the parts for that.
Yeah.
Cool. Nothing
Yeah,
to
it
it.
would-
I mean, they're
It would
already
literally
prepped.
just be the barrel too. There's no other part on it that needs to be blued.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like there's any prep. Just degrease it and throw it in the tank.
Yeah, it's already really polished well.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
Anyway, I mean, what do you think, guys? Would you? I mean, you had one, Adriel. You had the inline.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're a lot more work. You come home, you're not done. You've got to clean the thing now. But I don't know. It's one more thing to play with.
I don't know. You got the gun. If you buy the kit, that's $500, and then will you drop in another $500 in accessories? No, not that much.
No. Couldn't tell you how much this stuff cost, but it wasn't very much. You can buy it at Cabela's or Bass Pro, whatever, and I don't think it was very much at all.
Yeah.
Probably not $200 total for the powder and everything and all the stuff I have.
Yeah. The gamer in me says that I would go for one of the modern ones.
The modern ones can be inexpensive. You can get an inline for like $350.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or you can
But
get that
there's no-
Remington for $1,000 and then run huge 200 green charges and just ruin your shoulder. Now you're basically shooting a shotgun slug.
There's a YouTube video somewhere of this. What were they called? This precision rifle outfit that makes precision rifles. They had a precision muzzleloader, and they were shooting really, really far with the thing and really accurately. And it was a muzzleloader. Why am I telling you this? Because I can't remember the name, so I'm sorry.
Nate.
I'm sure it could be found just simply by putting that into Google.
Yeah. Long range muzzle loading. Anyway, to me, the inlines, it's strictly if you want to get another way to get a deer.
Yep.
You're not into the shooting aspect of it at all.
Nope.
And they have no soul, basically. This has soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I shot traditional archery, I didn't use carbon or aluminum arrows out of my traditional bow. And when I say I did not shoot traditional archery on a regular basis, but I did have my fancy leather back quiver, and I did have my cedar arrows, and they had actual feathers on them, and the leather glove and stuff like that. So
Buckskin?
Yeah, actually, the best gloves were made out of deerskin.
Did you
No,
have to wear the
buckskin,
assless
Yeah.
chaps
No,
and
I
the
didn't,
buckskin jacket?
No, I didn't go that far into it. I mean, remember, traditional archers are the FUDs of the archery world. They're like
I sensed that.
somewhere along the shotgunner type line, and you can have a traditional only archery shoot, but if you had a compound only archery shoot, you'd be a racist. That would be the equivalent. Yeah. So, yeah, double
Cool.
standard.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think I would go traditional actually, because like Andy said, it would be about the shooting, not about the hunting, and have everything kind of leather traditionally kind of thing with a real horn just for fun.
Very good.
Yeah, see, the wheels are turning. I could see it.
Sadly,
Yeah.
You could you have the capability, Trevor. You could do that finish your own DIY one there.
Do a nice job on it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one always held more allure to me, making my own and using that kit.
Mhm.
Well, there's satisfaction in it when it turns out nice, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, with Denise help looking over my shoulder, I mean, I could pump out a really nice
hmm
finished product. Yeah.
hmm
Then we could have a competition, Trevor.
Everything's a contest. We'd have to. So that's one more way for us to compete. Now I got to get one.
But you'll have to get a 54 then, because otherwise I'll make fun of your little 50.
Yeah, it'd be like sub power factor. It'd be like minor versus major, right?
You're like cheating, basically.
Yeah. No, exactly. 54 or nothing. Cool.
Why don't you get the 75 caliber Brown Bess? Because then you'd have like way much over Mr. Andy there.
Oh, if I could get an authentic original Brown Bess, I wouldn't be on this show.
They've got a Pedersoli. There's a Pedersoli one that you can get.
Those aren't rifled, right? Those are like a smoothbore
Mhm.
musket type thing.
75 caliber. 732 is the bullet diameter.
Okay, you cannot argue with 732.
That's
It's going
a
to
lot
be
of
some
light.
mass. Yeah. It's a lot of light.
Yeah.
That
That's not
deer's going to
letting
be
a lot
feeling
of
that light. Yeah. Or the bear, if you wanted to shoot a bear with one of those things. I don't think I would, but it's too brave. Too brave. All right. You guys think we're good on black powder?
I think so.
All right.
Covered it. I think we covered it.
We
really
covered
in
it.
detail.
We covered it. Listener feedback. Just on the YouTube version, we've been kind of answering the questions as we've been going along. Someone was Derek was talking about how much he liked your SBR there. Andy,
Another. See, I was talking about the pride and the finished product of
yeah. Let's pull that up again. Yeah.
of the the black powder rifle. I mean,
Yeah.
look, you see this? That's a microfiber cloth wrapped in
Oh.
black tape. There's nothing better for a cheek rest there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Full on hobo outfit.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you went to Home Depot and got a bunch of parts and kind of fit them together with some
No,
black tape
well-
and stuff. No.
As
Well, a
matter
little
of
bit, but-
fact.
a little bit, but other parts are really nice. It's El Cheapo Deluxo. That's what I call it. Actually,
It's
Cheapo
it's
Deluxe.
it's a party on
and
the
I
bottom and
Tim
business
gave me
up
some
top.
skate tape to put on the forestock here, so that's
Mm.
gonna. It's
I
gonna be
wouldn't
awesome.
do that. I would just score the plastic for grip
I would-
with a buck
you know, I
knife.
I was thinking of that, Adriel.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
not the buck knife part. I was going to use like my machine tools, but
A machete or something, or
I
you know,
don't know.
just hack at it. Yeah.
Torn, and I've got to get the 45-degree offset mount for the around the corner sight too, right?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, of
two
course- of
red
course
dots.
you
Yep.
yeah, got to have
At
the second red
least.
dot.
Yeah.
Andy,
Probably
you're
go
not
hollow stun with that.
one for selling guns, but I bet this thing gets sold.
This
Yeah.
never. No, that'll be the last gun I ever sell.
Well, yeah, okay.
Is Andy one of these guys who says he's not going to sell it, but then he sells everything and he just moves
No,
a
he
bunch?
sells nothing.
I actually, I don't sell guns very much. Once in a while, but
Interesting. Cool.
Rarely.
All right, listener feedback.
Trevor, you were talking about. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
go ahead.
You were talking about how heavy this thing was. It's 7 pounds 10 ounces.
Ooh,
It's
Nelly.
not bad.
It's not as
come
bad
on.
as you thought. You thought it was heavier.
For something that's sitting on top of a pistol frame, Adriel, 7 pounds?
I can probably
For an
get
overclock
a
pistol.
pound off of this. I could probably whittle a pound off of that.
Probably. More titanium.
No, buck knife. Start carving it off.
Yeah, whittle. Literally whittle. Yeah. I've got a full-size 18.5-inch rifle that doesn't weigh that much.
I didn't design it. I just own it.
Okay. Imagine what it weighed before you chopped the barrel off.
Yeah, it was 6 inch, whatever 6 inches the barrel weighs.
So that's interesting. Now, it's an upper, so it doesn't have to be registered.
That's right.
You change the length of your pistol barrel when you put it on.
I guess I made it longer. Yeah.
I wonder if there's Nope,
Well,
cut that out. It's not an AR, so it's not like you have to notify them when you change the length of
No,
the
it's
barrel
a-
on you.
It's the pistol frame. It's registered. It's restricted. It's
I would transport it as a pistol and then put
That's
the
what I
upper
do.
on.
I take it
front.
up. I take it
Yeah.
apart and I put the frame in my case and lock it in my case, double locked.
Yep,
And
done
the
deal.
upper just goes in the gun case.
Yep.
Cool. All right, listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. Follow him on Facebook and on Instagram. There are a whole ton of specials that he has for Black Friday coming up here.
Yep. Humor me while I go through them.
Go do whatever you want.
All right, cool. So the M&M M10X 7.62 by 39, we talked about that one last week. I believe it's $16.99. The BCL that's in there is $13.99. Chinese surplus 7.62 by 39 ammo crate of 1440 for $350. Now we've got a whole bunch of new stuff that's in stock. Ruger, all in stock Ruger American and Ruger Precision rifles. So Ruger Precision in 308 is marked down to $15.89. A Ruger Precision in 6.5 Hipster Creedmoor, $15.89. Ruger American hunting rifles in 30-06, $545. That's a good deal. A Ruger American Compact 308 Winchester, $545. A Ruger American Stainless Compact in 243 for $699. Ruger American Predator 6.5 Creedmoor for $575. All of this can be seen on his Facebook and Instagram, actual pictures of these rifles and the price lists. All the Mossbergs are on sale. A bunch of Patriots in different calibers, ranging from $779, $799 for the 300 Win Mag 24-inch barrel European Premier number 2 Walnut. That one's the $799. The Patriot in 243 with a Vortex scope for $509. Come on. Jeez, that's a good deer package right there.
Yeah.
Mossberg Patriot 30-06 with a 22-inch barrel, synthetic classic style stock, $435. Jumpins.
Is that 243 a junior rifle or a regular?
I believe regular, but
I gotta get a junior rifle next year.
I'd have to double check. Patriot 6.5 Creedmoor, 22-inch barrel. It's in dark earth for $449. And then there's a Schwacka pistols on sale. Glock 35 Gen 4 in 40 Smith & Wesson for $679. Smith & Wesson MMP range kit. Oh no, that one's gone. There's an MMP 2.0 range kit for $709. A Norinco NP22. That's the P26 clone for $329. I've held this gun. I have dry fired this gun. The trigger is fantastic. And right now, Christina is looking at my phone, seeing your face, and she's quite confused. That's not Kelly. Because there's a delay. Like they give Don Cherry, we have to give Andy a delay. He's got like a second.
That's what you think, but it's probably the other way around.
The delays for me? Oh, speaking of delayed, go away. Tanfoglio Witness 1911 9mm for $850. Paid $1,000 for mine. What the hell? Sorry, no. I mean, cost price. Cost price.
Nice.
Well, a Walther Creed 9mm for $480. Holy smokes! PPQ Q5 match combo that I believe comes ready for the optic. That one's $1245, and Gersans for $325, or a Gersan with a Vortex red dot installed, $650.
Neat.
And wrapping it up, we got a Scorpio SKS. You guys remember this? It was made by the same people that make the WK. They took an SKS, chopped it down, and threw it inside a chassis, and made it take AR mags. So that's $580. Wow. Remington 870 DM, set up with Magpul, $825. Daria Mark 10 VR90, $499. A Daria Carina pump, 14-inch barrel, $250. A Daria sorry, not a Daria, a DP12. Everyone knows the DP12. This is the double barrel pump action. It's $1849. A T97 flat top, $950. A 783 Watchdog 308 for $950. Remington 700 SPS 30-06 with sights, $569. Oh, nice. Howa 1500 HCR Camo 6.5 Creedmoor. This is a precision rifle It comes in a chassis. It comes with a really nice Nico Sterling scope on it already, so the whole thing is ready to go with an Accuracy International mag in 6.5 hipster, $16.85. There's a lot of value in that package. I've been eyeballing it for a while. I believe the barrel's threaded already as well. A TNW ARS 9mm. It's in pink, Adriel. You like pink. It's $9.50.
Love it.
There's a Gen 2 Chris Vector in Alpine White in 9mm for $16.99.
I like that Alpine White one.
It's, well, yeah, you having the white AR, of course. So that was a lot to listen to, guys. But he is a show sponsor, and he's good to us, and he'll be good to you. Call him, email him, visit the Facebook or the Instagram, and see if there's something there you want. And like the Calgary Shooting Center, he's updating his specials all the time. So check back often.
Cool. All right. Listener feedback. We have an email from Brian. I have this 410 shotgun, and the only name on it is Sure Shot. See attached picture. From what I hear, listening to you all, especially Trevor, this should be a Cooey. If so, what model is it? And I have lost the trigger guard and the screw to hold it on. How do I go about finding those parts for that older firearm?
Okay. So the Sure Shot was the name that Cooey put on their 22s and shotguns to when they were sold through Sears, at least Sears. I don't know if other manufacturers or other dealers carried them as well. I'm trying to hold my 22 up to my...
Put your hand in front of the your face so that it like wants to focus. No, like right up close to the gun. Like this. Yeah. There you go.
Like
now put your hand down. Oh, now we're focused on the gun. Oh, we were.
Right.
We found your face again.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
on the back of my Model 60, all it says is Sure Shot repeater, right? So it is a Cooey. It's a Cooey Model 84. And they were sold through Sears under the name Sure Shot, made by Cooey. As far as parts go, start joining the Cooey collectors pages on Facebook. If you're not on CGN, get on CGN and put a parts wanted. Plus, we may have those parts at the shop, so you can always call Armory DC Gunsmith at 506-826-9017. And we've got a schwack of Cooey parts in stock and can often order some in from different places. So that part is still obtainable, not unobtainable. Cool. And of course, I replied to his email and immediately asked if the gun was for sale. He assures me.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, he assures me it is not.
Gotta try. Cool. If you'd like to email the show and ask us to try to buy your gun, email us at slamfireradio@gmail.com. Podcast app reviews, none of those, but if you'd like to head on over to iTunes or Google Play or wherever you get your podcasts and give us a review, it usually helps people find us. Shoutouts, Trevor?
Yeah, to Sean and all the hardworking crew at Alberta Tactical Rifle Supply. Thank you so much for taking care of me with this thing. I got it in a reasonable amount of time. It's got a couple of customizations on here for me. The selector indicators and the serial number are customized, and that means a lot to me. The gun is amazing, and I cannot wait to get out and shoot it. You guys are swamped. Everybody's freaking out. Oh my God, they're going to take our guns. I want my gun now, or I want my money back, or can I sell my spot in line to somebody else? Like, oh, so much time is wasted that could be spent on getting your guns. Leave them alone. Calling them's not going to make it go any faster. You're going to get your gun when you get your gun. Either suck it up and wait for it or cancel it. But, like, stop calling them. Stop bothering them. Yeah. Things happen.
Cool.
Things change. Mm-hmm. Andy, have you ever had to change a deadline on a job?
Have I ever not had to?
Right? There you go. Things happen. You do your best to stay within, but sometimes there's things that happen beyond your control.
Slides crack. Mistakes are made. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you learn. You learn things from these things, right?
Of course.
Things were learned.
Yeah. He's never sent us another gun, has he?
Things you learned.
But I'm bringing 2 Glock slides down.
Cool.
All right, we're gonna go to work on Filthy's Glock next.
Sweet.
So
What are we do? Oh yeah, right.
we're gonna tighten it.
Yep.
The tolerances
Yes,
on the Glock
tighten
are sloppy as hell. So
Filthy, I thought you wanted that tightened. I thought that was the job.
Put
yeah.
it in a vise and
The
just keep
Slide Tracker
cranking.
2000.
Love it.
I got a shout out. Andy, thanks for coming on and helping us through today's show. Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, sorry for all the no shows there, guys. But
I don't
yeah,
think
thanks for having me on. It was fun.
I don't think we even threw you under the bus once for it.
Really?
No? Like privately, yes, but not on the
yeah.
show.
Oh, behind
No.
your back. Big
Yeah.
time.
A lot. Yeah. Names. Yeah. Nicknames. All that kind of stuff.
Appreciate all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
No problem.
Andy, do you have any shout outs?
Well, I was just while you guys were shouting out, I was trying to think of one, but no, I don't. I'm good. Yeah.
Cool.
You have to like people and associate with other human beings in order to want to connect with one of them and send out some kind words.
Is that the deal?
That, I'm not psychoanalyzing. I'm just judging.
If you ever have me on again, I'll make sure I have a shout out.
Oh, there you go. I'd like to shout out my cat Smokey.
She brought in a mouse. She brought in a mouse just minutes before the show, actually.
Shout out.
So,
Yeah,
shout out
what
to
a
the
good-
cat.
What a good
Another
mouse.
mouse down. Yeah. Less
Earning
vermin.
earning her keep.
Yep.
She needs to lay off the snakes, though. That's not cool.
Well, yeah, they're all asleep now, so it's fine.
Perfect.
Cool. Patreon. So if you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/slamfireradio. This week we have a couple of new, or are these guys all new?
There's one for sure. The other two may have got missed, so it's better to shout someone out twice than
Let's
not at
shout
all.
them out. Shout them all out. Frazier for 5. That's 500, I think.
Yep.
Mitchell for 762 and Barry for 5 as well. So if you want a patch, email us and I will put a patch in the mail for you. Finally, you can also help us out by visiting Cabela's through our link. So if you want to look at that Kentucky parts build where you got to build your own smoke pole, head on over to Cabela's through our website because we got like a little image on there, and then they'll kick a little bit of money back our way if you're gonna buy it there anyways.
Help fuel the jet.
Fuel the jet, yeah. We gotta shoot all those silver bullets, and that stuff costs money. So join a National Firearms Association such as the CCFR. Check us out on GOC and like us on Facebook. We're at 2,225. And we are closing the gap on those homeless children. We've got them in our sights, if it were, as it were. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Good night.